To another edition of Tech Fireside Chats with your host, Joel Martin. Take it away, Joel.
Oh, welcome. Oh, wait, did we lose somebody? I think we lost somebody. How did this freeze? I think it froze there for a second. It's the internet, man. Everybody's ordering lunch around Orlando, and everything's just freezing. I have no idea what's going on. We have a great episode today. We have Brandon Nades, CEO of Talon Simulations, right? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yep.
Oh, and
hey guys.
And our co-host for the show today is Mateus. How do I pronounce this? Pesavento. No,
Pesavento.
Oh, that's right. Italian last name.
Right on spot.
And you're the man behind the man. You created this thing, which we're going to talk about today, right? The back end for Talon. Which, by the way, I love seeing this in the Brandon in the background, because the last time I got to play with this was in at IAPA. I miss trade shows, man. I miss IAPA so badly. So let's take it away, Brandon. How about you introduce yourself? Tell us about your company, which I have a whole bunch of notes here and I can tell everybody about. But I'd rather you talk about it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, guys. It's
Cheers
great to get together. Cheers.
Cheers. Nice to see everybody. The post-COVID world. All right, take it away.
Yeah, I'm Brandon Nades. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Talon Simulations, and we specialize in mixed reality simulators for entertainment and training institutes. So what we have here, which you see next to me, is one of our A3 full motion simulators that we developed into a fully automated, unattended arcade cabinet. And that's one of the big projects that we've worked on. I'm putting together these turnkey systems with the hardware and software. And we've actually developed a lot of software with Code Firm to make that happen. And then what we're also able to do, because it's a reconfigurable motion platform, is create flight simulators and driver trainer simulators. And so you wouldn't necessarily have a big arcade cabinet with that, but we'll integrate very similar components. We'll have steering wheels and pedals and the high-powered computers, the virtual reality headsets, and then we'll have different back-end software that will run those simulations depending on what the project needs are. So we really specialize in bringing all that together and making a suitable package based around our A3 simulator and making that suitable for each customer at the end of the day.
Right now. Just invoice me. I need them in my living room. It's like the perfect gaming machine. I must have this. But all kidding aside, I love what you guys have done. And I do want to talk about you, the entrepreneur, the CEO who brought this, and we'll bring in Mateus in here in a second. But you have a really interesting background. I mean, you're a mechanical engineer, right? My mom's a mechanical,
yes.
And she did industrial, so I think engineers are awesome. And you got this great background with UCF, right? So
Go Knights.
About that. How did this all come together that led you to Talon?
Yeah, it's a really fun story. It's really just about following your passion, and you never want to start a company related to something you're not passionate about. And I was always very into amusement parks and roller coasters, and that was what made me go and study mechanical engineering, because I wanted to design and build roller coasters. So I actually moved from Philadelphia down to Orlando to study engineering at UCF, and I tried to get involved with the industry because we had Universal and Disney here. And actually between my second and third year of college, I got an internship at Universal. I actually started as a ride attendant there on the Hulk, and was able to work my way up from there.
Was Captain America, was that you?
No, I was a gamma technician, so I had the really cool yellow jumpsuits.
Gamma rays, man. They can make your head really big. They can make you into She-Hulk or Hulk. So exactly. Are you a Marvel guy after working at Universal?
You know, that was really strange. I gotta say, I'm more DC.
Oh, Warner.
Especially, well, it's funny too. Like around the same time, it was actually a couple years before that, but Disney bought Marvel and let them keep the Hulk and Spider-Man ride theme there. I don't know what that
west of the Mississippi is where they own the rights right now. I think that's going to be interesting to see what happens in, I think, like 5 years. When they don't, do they extend that? Do they not? Because they're building Marvel Land in California right now, right? We're sorry, Mateus, we're getting off topic. I see him.
All good. Continue.
But this is a very look, hey, mug, data geek. We're in video games, fun stuff, and of course, video games and simulations, VR, AR, emerging technology. That's what we're trying to build here, and this fits right in. So sorry to get off topic into comics, but and parks, right? It's all related. You might have to redesign your games in a few years to comply with the House of the Mouse, right? I mean, because Universal is changing. Anyways, off topic. So you started at Universal, but you also did the Space Alliance, right? You worked with the Global Space Alliance?
Yeah, so that was my first internship, actually. My brother was always into space, and so I had that interest there, and he always wanted to work for NASA, and he gets to live his dream now every day building tools that the astronauts use in space. And so he inspired me to just find an internship wherever I can, and I was still applying for the Universal one, but I got the one at United Space Alliance first, which was working on decommissioning the space shuttles for display in museums. And it was so cool. Yeah, it was sad. It was definitely sad, and especially working with the people. We were the last interns.
How many times did you watch the movie Space Camp? You don't have to answer that. That's a trick question.
Yeah, I mean,
you have any questions here? I mean, this does not work. This is just an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for sure.
That was his question.
Yeah.
So moving on. So when did you start Talon? Exactly. Like, when did you say, you know what, I'm doing this. This is the year. That's it. We're mortgaging the house and my parents' house and everything else.
Well, it was so I was working at Universal, and I was working on all of their large scale simulator attractions. And actually one of my first projects was to develop a virtual reality headset in partnership with the Orlando Science Center for their big Virtue Sphere, which is a big hamster ball attraction. And that was right before the Oculus Rift hit Kickstarter in 2013, which was the largest Kickstarter campaign that funded the new generation of virtual reality headsets that eventually got bought by Facebook.
Wow.
And it was right before that. So I was like, this technology is going to be revolutionary. I mean, especially with what was just on the market a few months ago when I was building our own virtual reality headset. And it was really showing that we could provide universal style attractions, but to entertainment centers that are on a way different level. So we were in our last year of
at the amusement expo show, the one that was in Vegas before.
We did. We were there, not this last one in New Orleans in March, but last year in March in Vegas.
Okay, I was there. Okay, all right, that makes sense. I was walking around, and before that, we lost Mateus. Oh, technical difficulties. Where is he? I'm telling you, people are ordering. It's Grubhub. They're killing the connection here.
This is bad. Like I have fiber optic running through this house through Spectrum, like 500 up or down or a gig or something like that, and it's unbelievable how much the Wi-Fi goes out. It really is.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think it's because everybody's ordering lunch and it's just that time.
All the e-scooters are eating up the bandwidth in downtown.
It's either that or my daughter is probably walking around yanking on the Ethernet cord and pulling everything out. So it's got to be one or the other right now.
You know, it's not that bad. It could be worse. She could be hitting play on Frozen on Disney Plus in every single room.
We're not there yet, man. I haven't seen Frozen, and I don't know if I plan on to, just because it's gonna be gonna be sucked into that, and everything's gonna be a Frozen world from that point on.
It's like the Borg. It's inevitable. You know, resistance.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, buddy.
It's coming.
It's coming. So I do recognize the machine. I saw you at the Amusement Expo in Vegas, right? Which I love that show. It was concurrent with Digital Signage Expo. They were going on at the same time. And I was sneaking in between both. I love doing that. I would go from one show to the other. Actually, my record is 4 shows in one day in Vegas.
Wow.
You do that in Orlando. But I think it was one year I had a nightclub and bar show, Pizza Expo. We had a travel show at the same time, and then Digital Signage Expo. It was all going on. It was amazing. But yeah, I remember swinging by. And you guys, again, not just, I mean, you did something with Dave & Buster's. I'm jumping ahead maybe a little bit, right? We want to talk about that? Can we legally talk about that? I'm sorry. Did I cross the line?
No, so we can talk not about a lot of details, but before I get into that, let me slightly transition into it by talking about our senior design project at UCF.
Okay,
so
let's start there.
That was when we decided to, instead of taking a university sponsored project and doing something that was, I don't know, related to thermodynamics or fluid mechanics, something that really didn't interest me at all. I saw someone that created a team to build a flight simulator with the new Oculus Rift headset. And so we ended up doing that for our final project. And we got a great recognition from UCF and industry that came to our final showcase. And it led us to getting a National Science Foundation grant to build another prototype and do some customer research with local entrepreneurs and investors that allowed us to do the lean startup methodology and go through this program. So right after that is when we actually rolled right into our final product that we launched. And basically at that time, we just launched the A3 full motion simulator and kind of rigged different turnkey systems together depending on what was out there. But yeah, it was very limited market at the time. The virtual reality headsets were very limited in what they could do and how good they were, as well as the software. But we just began taking a lot of the feedback that we were getting at all the trade shows we were doing, and that's what led us to developing the Vortex. And in the midst of all that, we had a lot of relationship with different companies that were also in the space. And one of them was working directly with Dave & Buster's, and they pulled us in to help bring that to a final product, all the hardware, software integration. And then we managed the technical support and the rollout of it was 126 simulators at the time. They're these 4-seat simulators that were had a Jurassic World game on it.
I saw it in New York, and I thought it was great. Can you believe I've seen the New York one? I haven't seen the local one, but okay. But wait, where did Code Firm come in all this? Where did Matthias jump in?
So we've been working with you guys, 3 years, I think?
Yeah, give or take. It started off as I don't want to say something small, but I mean the fact that it's gone from what it used to be to what it currently is now is, I mean, Reliant and Talent Simulations. It became a beast. It really did. We started with the sturdy foundation, and it was going from launching games and being able to end a session, and as Brenda had said, turn into a
technical difficulties. Can you hear him? I can't hear him. You back? It says AirPod. Man, Apple, when will you get your act together? So you can't be reliant on this old tech, man. Maybe we should move on to adding the stream so we can see the video while Matthias reconnects his microphone.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm having the worst of luck today, my friends.
Okay. That's the fun thing about being live, is that these things happen. So we're going to have you narrate what we're seeing here. We're seeing the Talon Vortex. What show is that? I don't remember that show. That looks like the Orlando Center.
That's actually one of our customers in Texas.
Nice.
They have a full entertainment center.
So FECs, you're working with the amusement centers, independents?
Yeah, and that's really who we designed this Vortex cabinet for. And whether it's an arcade, a full entertainment center with a variety of attractions, we've now are putting the final touches on our credit card integration. So it really can be a standalone mall attraction where you just go up, and we're calling it a virtual reality vending machine. Swipe your credit card, put on the headset, it walks you through everything, cleaning it and the proper use of it. And you see the menu essentially and pick your attraction. We have the 4 different games, but each game has a few different levels and things like that. So with the amount, we have 16 roller coasters and 32 racing experiences.
Oh,
so
wow.
There's over 40 different experiences you can actually do on the whole thing.
Was that embedded? Is that the card that I just saw there?
The inner card for the swipe?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
Mhm. Yep. Another
Oh, yeah, right
feature
here.
with the inner card for the embed. The other thing is that we end up doing with them that it takes inner card, and it also takes the credit card, which is what we're working on right now, and also integrated the free play mode. So if it goes into I don't want to say like a mom and pop, but a single owner without a franchise that has like a VR studio arcade system at their own location, they're able to charge either per head as they walk in and put everything on free play mode, or if they have kids' birthday parties and stuff like that. So the kids can just jump in and out. And that toggle switch is customizable to go from the inner card to the free play to the credit card instantly, just through the back end. So, it really is, as Brandon said, it's, if like one of the best unmanned arcade cabinet that's out there, meaning there's no personnel that needs to assist in any way, shape, or form, which is what I think makes it most unique.
And that's a big thing, the expense of having to have employees stand
Exactly.
or take tickets or credits, or let me take some notes in my gamma ray. Okay. So as you can tell, I'm a Marvel guy. So good answer. Good answer. But yeah, I think that is a big thing with I've visited a lot of trampoline parks in the last 2 years. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but in my role where I was visiting a lot of FECs and amusement centers, I got to see, when these are the operational costs that can either make or break an investment firm or a small mom and pop that's running one of these centers. And I think it's great that you guys have made it in a way where it can operate automatically, whether it's, I imagine it's NFC or MyFair, and you can just pay or use a card to swipe and pay with tokens. I mean, it just makes it a lot easier because they have so many other things going on, especially in the age of COVID, that they have to worry about, that you don't have to worry about taking tickets and, operating the simulation arcade. It has to run itself. It has to make money for them as an operator. I'm investing in this thing. I want it to, to work, right? So I think that's genius what you guys have done. Sorry, just in my opinion in there,
Exactly. And that's the feedback we've gotten for a couple of years now. And when we initially started working with Code Firm to develop what was essentially just going to be a remote launching interface for our games to make it easy to launch on a tablet, which is, we still have that functionality.
We were secret sauce just a little bit. So, oh, wow. And that's what the operator will see.
Yeah. So this is how we initially started working in developing this. I mean, Reliant, it was essentially remote entertainment launching interface technology or something like that. And we always knew that we wanted to get to a unattended space. And one great thing with working with you guys was that everything was changing every month. So as soon as we sold more simulators, our customers had different requests, and the next month development changed in priorities, and then same the next month and the next month. Now, it's crazy to think though, we knew we were going to develop this 3 years ago, but we didn't even get to that place really in the market where there's a need really for these kinds of attractions. And there was definitely building up, and there's some competitors that launched products last year that aren't necessarily interactive. They're more like ride style attractions that you can swipe your card and then you sit back and you get some wind in your face. We're actually creating something where you're controlling the experience by driving or flying or shooting things, or all of the above. So it's one of the big things that sets us apart. And it's just, so based on that feedback, we developed what we needed to. We were developing credit card integration in time for IAPA until we sold some simulators and they needed the intercard. So we swapped to doing intercard, and then we got back to the credit cards once that was all done. So there's a lot of different softwares communicating here, and you guys did a great job just making sure that we have a robust and reliable platform that
thank you.
That definitely
it's always nice to hear that. And one of the other cool things that we did is, like you said, like we started with almost like a base platform. And it got to the point that Brandon explained that, every month it was something different, or a new client needed something more. So we kind of sat back and we're like, you know what, we're changing this, and this client needs this needs this. Reliant's at the point now where it's almost 100% dynamic, which means it's not it is an out of the box system, but it's not a, here's Reliant, put it in and you're good to go. This thing is fully customizable. So it works with multiple industries and multiple different clients, and we built it so that you can change how much that you want to charge per race, or if you want to add new games and stuff like that. So there were a lot of change orders from month to month, especially working with Jordan. If he ever comes on, he's the type of person that, he'll give you 7 tasks one day and tomorrow there are 19 more. So we got to the point where, we sat back and we're like, let's make everything dynamic. Let's make one centralized dashboard that allows you to update the entire system. And I think that's what really sets it apart, is the customizable aspect of this. And the other one last thing that I wanted to touch on, one of the biggest features, and I guess would be like one of the biggest hurdles that we ended up accomplishing with Talon, was the ability to add multiplayer racing. So
like that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, who doesn't have a memory of Mario Kart or a game? The fun is playing with friends, right?
Exactly. And, you can do the single, but we were able to set up multiple servers that connect to one another. So the hurdle was being able to launch.
Wait, we have a screen here. We're watching is this a multiplayer?
Yes, he can go into Assetto Corsa and show the multiplayer with all the races and everything.
Nice.
There's a lot of different cars, a lot of different tracks, and it's as simple as that. You join, you pick your car and you join the session. Now, if there's 2 talent chairs sitting next to each other, or 3 or 4 or 5, I mean, this can go, I think, all the way up to 16 players. You can jump in and you can play your buddy racing, sitting right next to him, which is really cool. And, multiplayer, it's whatever. But the biggest hurdle was being able to actually launch a session and end a session from different units of the talent share and get everybody synced in together, and being able to race in the same game at the same time and record, who's in first, who's in second, and, who's on third, like that.
It's all the joke. it's all about engaging the public, and I love it in the sense that what's the limit right now for how many people can join in?
8 as of right now. We have the ability to scale up between 16 and 32. So I mean, that's my idea is to go and buy a movie theater, with all those seats. Just gut the whole thing, put a giant screen on the wall, like they already have, and do the leaderboards and a giant video up there, and put talent chairs in the entire room, and just have actually people racing.
100% correct. Mateus, you are on the money, because that is the future. So at CinemaCon, at Show East, which another trade show that I go to, the big conversation has been, especially now, there's a couple things hitting COVID, and I want to talk, Brandon, you have a good video about how you're disinfecting the systems. I want to share that with the viewers, because we're running low on time before. But let me get back to that. Mateus, you're on the money. CinemaCon, everybody's talking about how to make movie theaters profitable. Okay. And they're turning to esports. And a lot of them, before COVID, Monday through Friday, they're trying to find ways to make money, right? So I think in the post-COVID world, movie theaters, shopping centers, this is the type of thing that they were talking about at National Retail Federation last year when I went. How do you bring people back to do something they can't do in their living rooms? And Talent is that type of thing. It's the thing where I'm a small investor. I own 10 trampoline parks or 20 trampoline parks. I want to bring something that's going to be cutting edge that I can keep updating, that's going to have new games, that's going to keep people excited. Yes, it has DoD applications, it's got training applications, it's got private enterprise applications, for training, truck driving, whatever, right? But let's be honest, the people who are going to be buying this in bulk are the people that own amusement centers around the world, right? So for those guys, I would say this is the type of thing in the post-COVID world that's going to bring people back into their venues. So it makes sense to invest in a system that's upgradable and can create shareable content like that. When you have 8 guys playing, at a party or 16 guys, you're going to grab that video, you're going to send it to all your friends, you're going to post it on Facebook, you're going to be sharing that. And that's the part that gets me excited, because that's me. I'm playing a game and I'm like, oh, look at that. That's amazing, right? I mean, we live in this Twitch world now where everything has to be shareable, and people are lining up watching the games. I was watching some people playing games at the Andretti. They had a crowd at Andretti watching people play the games. And I think that's the thing. Everybody can become a video game superstar now because people are enjoying watching other people play. So anyways, sorry, I'm a fan. I was a fan before I even started talking to you guys, and I didn't even know. I was just walking at IAPA or Amusement Expo, and it's weird how the universe brought me here so I could see this. Brandon, can you share that video, the COVID disinfection video? Because I think it's great. I actually thought that was a smart move and something that's good for the industry to show. Look, this thing can be cleaned. It can be wiped. It's easy to get it ready. I thought that was a really good video on LinkedIn. There you go. Super easy. I mean, yes, it does require somebody to do it, but it doesn't take much,
Yeah.
No,
so this actually
we all did our part
plays.
to do it. You wouldn't need somebody else to do it either. But
Yeah.
This plays on the TV when no one's using it, and so it will show them and train them how to use everything properly before they sit down, and it does keep it so you don't need an attendant. At this point in time, for our locations that are operating, we do recommend having someone overseeing them, but you really don't need one person per simulator. You need one person for 8 simulators, and that really keeps it profitable still. Because as that video shows right there, once you don't have to use a tablet anymore. So in partnership with a game studio, we developed what we call the Vortex virtual launch interface. So after you swipe your card, now you get a virtual interface that allows you to use your eye gaze to pick what game you want. So that really keeps it unattended. You then pick your car, pick your track.
Are we allowed to talk about what's next? Or can you share a little bit what's in the future? What's in store for Talon?
So
I'm on the spot here.
Really, we're really getting involved. We're trying to get more of these Vortex machines out there. We do have some good plans for advancements on it. Yeah. And one of the big things that we just also finished is our reporting on the game tracking. So you get monthly reports on not only how many games were played and the amount of money you made on it, but what games were played the most and everything. So we can keep track on that, so we know what we might want to swap out. And we do have a new game that we want to release next year that will be additional on the platform. So our goal is to end up getting 2 more games a year. And we're also just still active in the training industry. So we were just involved prior to a lot of the shutdowns with some research taking place on impaired driver simulations to just study the effects of drinking and driving and marijuana and driving, and also distraction, like texting and driving. So we want to do more of those sort of projects. And speaking on what Matthias said about the reconfigurability, we actually took Reliant and adapted it for the Air National Guard to use to launch flight simulations. So they have 9 simulators that they can control from one tablet, and launching people into the simulators on different aircrafts. Now, so it really just shows.
Have a Red Bull holder?
A what?
A Red Bull holder? No.
Oh.
Well, we have talked about integrating those, but on the motion simulator, you do spill your beer. So.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Wires. From PGP, Westfield, Simon Malls, any of these mall groups that we all watch the news, and a couple months from now, we'll be watching this and saying, oh my God, this guy was right on the money. I hope I'm predicting the future here. It's Nostradamus. But the truth is, malls are going to have to come back. All these venues are going to have to go through a radical change once the post-COVID world hits, right? And same thing with theme parks. I truly think that this is a type of device that they should embrace. And every town should have their own interactive game center, because it's a type of thing that's going to get teenagers and people that are going to trampoline parks, or we're going out of their living room from watching Netflix, which I love. I still love Netflix, and into a public space to do something, right? So sports, activities, but video games in the public are going to be huge. So I really do think people should take a look at the website, talentsimulations.com. Check it out, because I think this is the next level in the post-COVID world. More devices that do more things. It's not just limited to one game. It's not Pac-Man, which is only going to be always Pac-Man. I mean, it's going to be changing, right? I mean, you have roller coasters, cars. You talked about marijuana game. I'm sorry. Yeah. But I mean, it can do other things, right? It can be a shooter. It can be an interactive game. But I love the whole, 8 to 16 people. That brings crowds, and we need things that are going to get crowds back out there in the public having fun. Anyways, I'm a big proponent of all those things in this post-COVID world. Any last thoughts, guys? Because we're running out of time here. Your COVID crush. What are you watching? Brandon, tell me, what are you streaming right now?
Honestly, I am actually the one doing the streaming. I've taken this time to get more into music and recording my own songs, and then performing them on Facebook Live. So,
what, guitar?
Yeah, I do guitar, bass.
I see him. He's good. He's really good. Yeah.
All right. Everybody go to Brandon's Facebook. Let's check out his guitar skills. What is it like? Can you give us some feedback? What type of music is this?
Yeah, it's like instrumental rock music. I mean, I like to think of it sort of like Pearl Jam without Eddie Vedder, because I don't sing. So, I mean, I've been inspired by them and Chili Peppers, and a lot of like hard rock and stuff like that. So that comes out in my guitar solos.
Besides Talon, what are you playing? What games are you playing right now?
Well, that's the other thing. I don't really. I'm not the avid video game player. That would be business partner Jordan. Yeah,
What are you playing?
What are you playing?
I actually just got done and beat OOT Zelda Ocarina of Time for probably the 19th time in my life. It was the first game I beat when I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old. So I've always had an affinity love for Zelda. But other than that, currently. Nair, Automaton. It's kind of like a JRPG. And then other than that, as Brandon said, that I do play with his other co-founder, Jordan. We'll play Call of Duty every now and then. So a little bit of everything, some FPS, some RPG. I'm sorry?
That's a family game. That's fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. I make sure my daughter's out of the room if I'm shooting anything, or it's a little violent, but yeah, it's fun. It's a good time.
Good stuff. Well, I want to congratulate you, Brandon, with your success. I've seen you at the Amusement Expo, at IAPA. I mean, at the Dave & Buster's. And so this is great, man, to see the faces behind the creation that thousands of people are getting to use every day. It'll be great to have this call, this conversation again in a few months to see what's happening with Talon as we emerge from the post-COVID world. But any last thoughts besides streaming? Anybody reading anything? What's new? Our listeners want to hear something. Best new app, best new show or book that you've read.
Spend time with your family.
There you go.
Yeah, right. I just finished Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss.
Interesting.
I've been inspired by him for a while now, since the 4-Hour Work Week, and he's got an awesome podcast. And so he deconstructed his podcast and took all of the habits and tools that a lot of successful people in all sorts of fields use every day and that kind of thing. So it's definitely inspirational, and I definitely recommend checking anything out by Tim Ferriss.
Good recommendation. Yeah. Matthias, any last thoughts?
Yeah, just spend time with your family, man. Really. I mean, working in tech, as everybody knows that works in tech or is a coder, you spend hours on end sitting at a desk coding. You spend hours up at night. I was blessed and fortunate enough to be able to stay home and be with my wife and my daughter. I actually get to see my daughter grow up every single day. So if you get your stuff done, spend time with the people that you're with. Honestly, it's consider yourself blessed.
Wow. Well, thank you guys, gentlemen, 2 leaders in the industry, and we love seeing this game playing in the background over here on the right. It looks great. If you haven't had a chance to see one, you will see one soon. And thank you, Brandon, for your time today. Mateus, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for watching, and join us next week on Tech Fireside Chats.
That was great. That was absolutely great. Did you have fun?
Yeah, other than the fact that I had 19 technical difficulties.
No, that was funny. You really added to the show. That was great because your face was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the Wi-Fi or what was going on, but I kept getting kicked out, and then earbuds go out, and a lot of stuff.
Well, listen. I love. He was a great guest. Great idea. That's a good success story to put us behind the story behind the story, right?
Yeah, and I didn't want to take away too much from him because obviously he's the one in the spotlight. So,
yeah.
I talk to the dude every single day working on his